Alright, we're back. We're about 15 minutes away from landing in Kelowna. We've climbed up to about 11,500 feet just to cross over some of the final peaks, but we're now flying down a valley. If we come over here and pop outside, you can see this is the valley we're going to fly down, and Kelowna is located down here in the mist. So we're going to descend down here over this little lake, over Vernon, BC, come around the lake here, and we'll be coming in and landing. So I got First Officer Molly sitting behind me in the door to the office, so we may hear her, hopefully not too much. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on our new heading out towards the lakes there. Now we're going to start a descent. We're going to go down rather gently. I want to be at about 5,000 feet when we hit Vernon, which is in between these two lakes here. And we'll start to nose down slightly. There we go. We have an airport elevation of 1420, so about 2,500 feet will be our approach altitude. We'll leave the power at 30 inches as we start to descend downwards. Let's see if we can get that down a little bit further, about 500 feet per minute. If we can hold it about there. And everything is looking good. Fuel burn's been good. We're in auto lean. So coming over to the weather currently in Kelowna, we are looking at variable at 2 knots, so 1.6 is good. It's 9 miles visibility. We got a little bit of haze. Skies are clear, no clouds, 8 degrees, and 3001 on the Barrow. Good. Otherwise, so interestingly, this is in hectopascals. So we'll just set it that way. And it's pretty much set. So it's going to be regular landing weights. We're going to be aiming to get the needle here onto the diamond as our approach speed. It'll be a flaps 30 landing. We're not going to be using short field flaps. Runway length is pretty decent for out here, 8,900 feet. We're not going to need anywhere near that, as you will see. The aircraft does not have reversers, but reverse props, but I mean, you don't need them. It is such a good aircraft to get in and slow it down with. I was trying to tune in VORs here. There's one we just passed, but it doesn't seem to be picking it up. Not sure why. Alright, so we're doing about 141 knots. Yeah, Molly's just on the floor, which is nice. And then we'll just turn to come over Vernon. And then we'll follow that lake around. We're going to slowly keep bringing the power back on the engines. Keep it at about 30 inches as we descend down. There we go. We're coming up over the town of Armstrong here. You can see the terrain where we are at. It's all looking good. So down here, across Vernon, out to the lake. We'll deke around the lake, and Kelowna is down there. The fires were raging all in this area recently, and they had to evacuate Kelowna, I believe. Or at least they were under be prepared to evacuate order. Not sure what the situation there is now, but at the time of recording, they've had a lot of fires in the last little while here. So just coming through doing a check as we descend through 10,000 feet. The carb air is good. Manifold pressure is 30 prop RPM is good. Oil pressure, cylinder head temperature, carburetor temperature is good. Sorry, that's oil temperature. Oil pressure, fuel pressures are good. And yeah, we are looking good there. We've set 300 feet above ground for our radar altimeter. We'll see how that goes. So we're still a bit high. I want to be at 5,000 feet. So we're going to bring the power back now to 20 inches. And we're going to bring our descent rate down to 1,000 feet. And that'll get us down a little bit faster. So as we pass through 9,000, we are coming down. So we'll get our, I want white lights. We'll get our landing lights on. Now we do have the rudder, or the flap handle here, and it will indicate where we are position-wise. There's also an indicator here that shows where it is position-wise as well. All right, there's 8,500 feet. We are looking good as we come down. Just gonna grab a quick, lovely screenshot here. You might recognize that from the thumbnail. Oop. There we go. Again, 2,500 feet is going to be our basically our approach altitude as we come in. Landing speed's going to be down at around the 70 knots, 75 knots area on a flaps 30. Verdun Airport's over here. Where we're going to come by. This is Kalamalaka Lake. And of course, this is the Okanagan Valley. There's the Okanagan Lake over there. Okanagan Valley, rather famous. A lot of BC wines come from this area. 6,500 feet. Hey, we're going to come down to about 3,000 as we come down across the water here. So we have about 3,000 feet to go. Just do a little bit of a turn here, get her lined up on the lake. Keep that 1,000 feet per minute descent rate. Power back 20 inches again. Don't want to overspeed. We're doing about 146, 147 knots. There's 5,000 feet coming up. Again, this is a nimble aircraft made for this type of flying, so you can really get it around. There's some really good footage on YouTube of Royal Canadian Air Force search and rescue Caribou coming into an airport in BC. It shows both the arrival and departure, and just how maneuverable and adapted it is to this type of flying. Again, we'll be taking this to a new location on a remote part of the world when we do a series of flights out there. Again, doing some cargo hopping. It's 4,000 feet. Just keeping an eye on the radio altimeter as well. Runway heading out here is 159, so I'm just going to turn the heading indicator to about 159 just as a reference. Somewhere about there. Very nice with the trees. Again, we're going to turn, follow the lake. Coming up for 3,500. Actually, we're below 3,000. There's 2,500. We'll stay here. Get ourselves lined up here. Hold our altitude. So ahead of us is Wood Lake. And then we're going to have a little town village called Lake Country, and then we fly into the airport, which is going to be somewhere over here as we continue around the valley here. So you can see our radio altimeter is showing we are just over 1,000 feet above the water here. We come barreling along. Been really good. So distance to the airport is 8 miles, 8.8 miles. So when we hit the end of the lake, we're going to start getting ourselves configured and ready for landing. Still descending a little bit, don't want that. Alright, so as we come level, we're going to bring the power back up to our cruise power setting of 30 inches. There's the other lake. So the airport is to the way we're facing that lake is to the left of the lake, so we're going to stick to the left of it. As we come off of here into this haze, not sure if this is like haze or smoke haze, probably going to be smoke. Alright, so the airport should be over here. And there's 5 miles. So we're going to go mixture fully rich. Propellers are now going to come fully forward. Coming off on the controls, will maintain 30 inches for now. Doing about 130. Turn to intercept for the airport. Again, this thing will slow up rather quickly. Maintain that 2,500 for now. Alright, so we're going to stick to the left of the lake here, and as we come up, we should see the airport. In fact, I can see the airport starting to come into view there. the runway we want right there. So we can start getting the aircraft configured. Alright, props coming back slightly. We have mixture full rich propellers are now fully forward. Start bringing that speed down. Come back to about 20 inches. Turn in for the runway. And with the speed starting to edge down, we can bring in the flaps. That will help slow us down and get us onto our final approach speed. We'll go gear down. Flaps 20. It's 100 knots. Gonna bring that power back to about 15 inches. Flaps 25. And flaps 30. We're going to be using flaps 30 for the landing. It is not a short field. We're going to keep the power back at about 15. Just let the speed come back. We're watching that gauge up here. Just bring that needle down. We want it around the diamond, and that is our landing speed. That back. Power back there, that needle's starting to move. We have a displaced threshold, so we're going to aim for roughly around the PAPI lights. Alright, gear down 3 green, flaps set, lights are on. We are ready for landing. So we're slightly fast, trying to extend out. There we go. See the windsocks are pretty dead, maybe a knot or two from the left or from the right, but that's fine. Down we come. We may be slightly fast, but we are good for distance. And we are down. Bring the engines down to 1,000 RPM. It's manual braking. And we can get off here. You can see how much runway we needed. Not a lot at all. Alright, let's get her around. And we can start getting her cleaned up. We're going to park over in front of that building over there. Alright, so the flaps can all come up. I'm going to taxi in here. Come up to the overhead, turn those off. No, other way. There we go. Get those lights on. And we'll taxi in here, and we'll park up in front of this building. And keeping the engines at about 1,000 RPM, using the brakes to stop. There we go. So parking brake is on while we shut down. We'll come back here and get the back doors opened up. Open the door to the back. So we'll run the engines at 1,000 RPM for a little bit, as we do with round engines, for 2 reasons. One, it gets the oil out of the bottom, splashes it around, so everything is nicely covered. Second is that it allows us to help prevent shock cooling of the engine with the different metals cooling at a different temperature. Keeps a little bit of heat in there as it cools down, so we don't get nothing too major. Alright, so now that we were parked, we can shut off the taxi light. We can turn off the wing lights, and that is all good down there. And shutting down the engines, same as you do with any of these types of aircraft. Mixture will go to fuel cutoff. So first engine to start was the right engine. We'll cut that one first. There we go. And now we'll cut the left engine. Throttle's back to neutral. We'll put the gust lock on, and everything else is good. Fuel pumps are off. Come down here, turn off the DC inverters. The AC inverter can go to standby. Anti-ice anti-collision lights can come off. I can hear the dog, and we can turn off the battery master. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and found this little video on the Caribou helpful, and you'll be seeing it in a series soon. So thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one. Bye for now.